Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hey, my name is Islia. In today's video I'm going to be telling you guys 10 things that every college student should know and should be doing. So I wanted to show you guys, or I wanted to share with you guys things that I wish I knew before I was like a junior, like things I wish I had been doing since I was a freshman. So maybe this video is more for people that have started at college, or even if you're in college and you still don't know what the heck you're doing. So I'm going to be telling you guys these essential things that will definitely help you succeed in your college education and hopefully get the best out of it, because that's what you want to do. You pay for your education, you go there for 4 years, you better get the best out of that, because if not, you're kind of just wasting your time. Just kidding, you're not wasting your time, you're doing something great. Anyways, I'm gonna get to those tips, and I hope you guys like this video. I did write down my tips in this little notebook right here. It's so cute, I love it. It says dream big and be happy. Dream big and be happy. So I'm gonna be reading the tips that I wrote, because obviously I'm not gonna remember. I can't remember everything except 10 things. No. So I'm gonna tell you guys what I think are essential things. First thing, do not buy your books in the bookstore. Yeah, they're gonna be more expensive. You want to buy your books in places like Amazon or Check. I'll leave them links down below. It's for like Check, because I know a lot of people don't know about that website, but it is a pretty good website where people could get books for cheaper. I think you have to subscribe. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't used it. I mean, I've always got my books on Amazon, and I get them on like a Facebook page where people share where people sell and trade books. If your school has one, you should look into it, because it's definitely gonna help you. One tip is to try to buy your books ahead of time. For example, if you know for sure that you're gonna be taking that class, and especially if it's one of your major classes, like something that you need to take and you're probably gonna use that in the future, you're gonna want to buy the books ahead of time, because they're gonna be cheaper, especially on Amazon. Sometimes when I bought my books like right the week, or like even like the same week that school started, the books were like 30% more expensive. That's because people sell their books on Amazon, and the cheaper books run out faster. So what I recommend is for you guys to buy the books ahead of time if you know you're gonna take it. Another tip I'm gonna tell you guys is that sometimes you don't need to buy the book. What I recommend is for you to just wait till you start your class, see what the professor says, and then from there like try to see if you could buy it, or even like, you know, I don't know, find ways to. Sometimes they have PDF versions online, so you could probably do that. Or you could just get an older version, which are also more cheaper. Just ask your professor and see if they're okay with it. Sometimes it's just same content, just different like outline or different wordings, but you could also try that. But second tip is to get on the professor's good side. This is very important, because it's going to be beneficial for you in the long run. You know, it's going to be beneficial both ways. You're going to be able to, you know, get a good grade in your class, because you're going to be, I mean, with this tip I'm going to recommend for you to sit in front of the class or close to where the professor could see you. Also make sure you're participating and being engaged in the lecture. Like if the professor asks questions, raise your hand, comment. If you don't understand something, ask. You know, you just want to be able to stand out, and the professor to like know that, okay, you're in my class. If she sees you or he sees you in the hall, like he'll recognize that you're in her or his class. Or you could visit their office hours, which is very good, because you're going to be able to get that one-on-one connection. And at the end, you could even get like, you know, sometimes like professors will remember you, and especially if you get a good grade in the class and you were always participating and a good, you know, student, you could always go back and like ask them like, hey, if I ever need a letter of recommendation, would you mind giving me one? And sometimes most likely they will say, yeah, you know, I could give you one, just come by, because they're there to help you. Really take advantage of this opportunity and try to get the best out of it. So especially if the professors are from your department. For example, I'm a psychology major, and I always try to get connected to my psychology professors, because I know that if I see them, I could always go to them for any advice, for any tips. Sometimes they could recommend you, you know, to like any internships or scholarships or things that will be very beneficial for your career. So that is a very important thing every college student should be doing. Another tip is, well, this one is kind of like obvious, but always be on time. I know for me, I would struggle sometimes because I'm not a morning person, and if I had like a morning class, I would always be like 5 minutes late. But honestly, I recommend for you to be on time, for you won't miss any information. Sometimes, especially now, I notice that professors are taking those first few minutes of class very serious and actually like either collecting homework or quizzes, or even taking roll, and if you're not there, then they might just mark you as absent, because you know you have to start practicing punctuality, and you have to start practicing, you know, professionalism, and that is definitely gonna help you in the real world. I know it has gonna help me because I know I'm not very good at being punctual, and that is a very bad habit. But I'm just letting you know that take advantage of this, and like, well, I'm just letting you know that this will really help you in the long run as well. So tip number 4, engage with your peers and with your classmates. Sometimes when we're in class, we tend to be shy, we tend to kind of like be in our own bubble, in our own phone, and not really like participate or interact with other people. But like the biggest thing is to get connected to people. College is a beautiful experience if you get, you know, if you go there and actually interact with people and not just kind of become like in your own bubble, because then you get to also find other people's different interests, and maybe they have the same interests as you, and you can help each other in one way or another, especially in the long run. Like if you keep connected with people, they might help you. For example, if you didn't go to class and you missed like a quiz or a test, or not a test, hopefully not, or like you know, notes or something, then they'll be there to help you, or even like send you a text of what happened. I don't know, it's always nice to have like just a connection with at least your neighbors, okay? And I really recommend for this, because sometimes even like when you study together, it could be beneficial, and you just want to start building that network from early on. Sometimes it's not going to be that sometimes you might meet a person in one class and then like not ever talk to them again. But especially if they're in the same major as you, you really want to stay connected, because you will see each other throughout the whole, you know, 4 years of college. So that is another tip. Number 5, instead of reading your book before class, because a lot of professors do say that, like read your book before the lecture so you can be prepared to discuss or whatever, I recommend for you to wait until you after class, after the lecture, because then you'll be able to go back to your book and actually read stuff and kind of more understand it. Because sometimes when we read, we're like, okay, like we don't really get it the first time. You gotta read it like again to kind of like, oh yeah, I remember, okay, this is what it means, unless you're really smart. But I know I'm not that smart, so I'm just kidding. But I know I could, like, I get more out of it after I read, you know, after class. So I really recommend for you guys to try that, and it's definitely gonna help you, because you're actually gonna be reading what and looking for the information that the professor talked about, and it's gonna make more sense. Number 6, if there's a class you're struggling with, don't be shy to go to tutoring hours, especially if professors offer them, or even like just, you know, going to the professor's office hours. I know a lot of the times people get like embarrassed, or they just don't want to go ask the professor for help because they feel like either they have pride or they're just like embarrassed to ask. Don't be. If you're struggling with the class, you want to get help because you don't want to fail or get a bad grade. I mean, honestly, it's your education, it's your grade, and you're gonna have to do whatever it takes to get that grade where you want it to be. So there's a lot of the times that there's office hours and tutoring, and even study groups. Study groups could be very helpful, and they could also be not very helpful, depending who you're studying with. I know sometimes when I had like difficult classes where we had to like memorize things, like for example biopsychology, I would get together with the person or like a study group, and we would go over and kind of teach each other what we were learning, and it was very helpful because we were able to like teach each other. And when you teach somebody else, that's when you're actually learning it the best. So I really recommend for you guys to not be shy and get into study groups if there is any people that are really serious about getting this material done and ready to learn. Tip number 7, get involved. So from early on in your college career, I know a lot of the times people, when they hear I get involved, it's like, oh, join a sorority, or you know, you know, those type of involvement. But I don't really mean that. I mean, you could go ahead and do it. It's a good experience because honestly you build a network, you feel like you build a social life that it's also a part of the college experience, and it's very nice, you know, if everything goes nice and works out. But what I mean is that you have to get involved from early on in joining like honor societies, joining clubs. If you're interested in like the fields such as like biology, chemistry, sociology, psychology, there's so many fields, you could start doing research. And that for that you have to like talk to your professors and see where they want, like what interests you and what they have going on in research. I know for me, I was doing some neuroscience type research, and I started doing that like my sophomore year, but I couldn't do it all, so I actually did it like my junior and my senior year, and that was very helpful because I was able to get like more hands-on in doing like getting skills that you might need in the future, especially if you're going to graduate school. You really want to get, you know, research experience because that's what they want, and that's gonna be really helpful not only in your skills and in your resume, but you will also build connections and networks that will help you in your future. So definitely look into getting involved in research and or like any activities that are going on relating to your field. And honestly, this is also going to help you, give you a more insight if that's really what you want. If this doesn't work out, like you could also do volunteering, and like for example, if you're interested in being a teacher, volunteer in a school and like get that feel if you really want that, and then there's going to be opportunities that are going to rise from that, and you could probably get a job and get more skills and experience. So that's tip number 8. Apply for internships. I know a lot of the times people don't like to do this because they feel like I'm not gonna get it, but honestly just give it a try. After I had been doing some research with my professor and in like the lab at school, I got interested in like wanting to do more. So my professor suggested I, you know, apply for internships. So I did, and I got accepted to one at OHSU, and I was there for 8 weeks, and it was such a great experience to where I was able to get that feel of graduate school and like research and everything. And honestly, it helped me kind of figure out what I really wanted, and I know that that wasn't really for me. So now my direction drifted from research to something else. But what I mean is that you always want to get involved and do research and internships, especially if you have the GPA and if you have the opportunity to do it. Go ahead and apply, and trust me, it's gonna be very helpful, especially because a lot of the internships now, like they offer like stipend and housing and everything. You just gotta be there and do your work. So definitely look into that, and I wish I could have done this from like the first year of college. So tip number 9, take your EC classes serious. What I mean by this is that make sure you get good grades, because these classes will actually help your GPA in the long run when your classes are actually hard and you can't get that A or that B+. So I know, for example, like sometimes the the general ed classes, we kind of lag on them because they're like, oh, that's easy, that's not going to help me in my future, whatever, I don't care. But honestly, these are like the opportunities for you to actually get a good grade and raise that GPA up. If you do good in your first few years of college with those easy classes, you're honestly gonna have a higher chances to get that GPA where you want it to be, even when you're struggling with 1 or 2 classes. And tip number 10, I recommend for you guys, and really every college student should be doing that. If you do, bravo for you. If you don't, you gotta get to it. But take advantage of all the resources that are provided to you by the university. I know sometimes we don't, because either like we are too busy with life or something, which that's okay. But if you can, honestly, take advantage of like the health center. I can't even say the health center, the gym. Sometimes they have seminars and like even like help to get jobs, and even research, anything like that's just provided to you that you pay for it. Take advantage of it and really go and do it, especially sometimes with like even like the health center. Like if you need a counselor, if you need someone to talk to, go ahead and like just go and make an appointment, because they're there to help you. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious, if you have any type of issue that's getting in the way of your studies, make sure to go talk to somebody and get help, because you know, you want to get the best out of your college career, and you want to get, you know, you want to succeed and not get stuck. And sometimes we do get stuck, and that's when we need help. So make sure you're taking advantage of those resources that are being provided to you by the university. I did wanted to make this video because I did start a college. I am in my last semester, and I am very excited to get this going and over with, because then I'll be getting my bachelor's, and that is what I've been waiting for, what I've been working for. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys these tips. I hope you found it helpful. There's probably more tips that I could share with you guys, but I think these are the 10 top essential tips that every college should be doing and should know about, because, you know, they have helped me throughout my college journey, and I wish I could have done this earlier on. But I hope that if you are watching this before you actually like have more years to go, that they could be helpful for your career and hopefully get the best out of your education. I wish the best of luck for you guys. I am gonna get going, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.